Hey, it's Chris from Novation, and now we're going to look at the wonderful Circuit Mono Station. So here at SUPERBOOTH 2017 in Berlin, we've released two products. We have our wonderful 8-voice poly desktop synthesizer, but also we've got this little thing which has come along as well. And this is a really special piece of kit, I believe. It's basically an analog synthesizer, true analog synthesizer up at the top, but then also co-joined with the sequencer from Circuit, and it's a very powerful system. The analog synth up at the top here is taking elements from the base station. It's a stripped back version, if you like, in terms of we have one LFO, one envelope, but using the modulation matrix and the sequencer mean that we can get a lot of power out of this thing.
So the base station is a bit more deeper in synthesis than this one?
Well, the base station is a full synthesizer, of course. This is a full synthesizer, but I wouldn't say necessarily deeper. I think just different. I guess the base station has a traditional synth layout, whereas this is a synthesizer joined to a sequencer, and that's really what makes it really quite exciting, the fact that the sequencer is able to do things that you can't do on a standard analog synth. So, I mean, for example, it's a mono synth. You know, we have a single filter, we have a single amplifier, but we have two oscillators in there, and because we have the oscillators and we have our circuit sequencer, we can basically set up two different sequences for the oscillators, so we can separate the pitch, which is why, of course, at the bottom here we've got paraphonic analog synthesizer written in there as well. So that's exactly what it is. It's a mono synth, but it has got built-in paraphonic possibilities as well. So again, let's just get a sound. Here is my basic straightforward sawtooth, square, and again, pulse width. So pulse width is on there as well, of course. Sine and triangle, that sort of thing. Let's stick with the triangle for now. Let's bring in oscillator 2. So if I go to oscillator 2 now, and now you'll notice I'm not actually triggering the amplifier here because it's in this, it's a mono synth. You only have one note to trigger the amplifier basically. But if I switch on paraphonic mode now, oscillator 2 can also trigger the envelopes and basically open the amplifier up. So we'll just make that a little thicker. So there we go. Now let's start a sequence. So I've got my scales mode. This is something that a lot of people love within Circuit as well, and it's great because we've got all these different scales that we can choose. We can also use this as a transposition page as well. But I'm going to go over here just to get a chromatic scale up, and I'm going to just bring in some notes. So again, just randomly putting the notes in here, not kind of mid-demo style, but. So that we've got the sequence running. Now if I go to oscillator 2, let's bring that back in tune. Now I'm going to bring in some extra notes. Okay. We can hear now the paraphonic side of things working. Okay. We've got a sub-oscillator here as well. So really powerful, good for the bass sounds there as well. Now, let's bring out the oscillators and bring in the ring modulation. So normally, ring modulation is generally working on, for example, things like the bass station with two fixed kind of oscillator positions. But by separating out the oscillators, of course, the ring modulator has a completely different character. So rather than just controlling pitch, we're getting tombrality changes as well, which are really interesting. Let's go into our modulation matrix now. So let's go over here, envelope, switch on the amp envelope. So again, really quite an interesting sound we've got going on there. Go to filter. So that's quite a nice little sequence. So quite happy with that. Now what I'm going to do is use the audio input. So I've got my trusty circuit next to circuit mono station. And one of my favourite things on mono station is the fact that we have an audio input on the back here, and I can run any audio signal through the overdrive, through the filter, and through the distortion as well. So this can give some really nice possibilities when you're working with other gear. So I've got a little beat here. So I have a straightforward beat running here on circuit. If I bring in the audio input here, now. So now I've got the filter firing off the envelope. Well, the envelope is being fired off by the sequence, controlling the filter, and of course the audio input here is coming from this circuit. Let's put some distortion on. You can get some really dirty stuff going on with that. So let's bring in the So you can see there's a lot of stuff going on with this synth engine. So at first it might appear like it's quite a basic synth engine, but actually when that's coupled together with the sequencer, there's a really there's a whole lot of possibilities out there with it. Other things I should mention, we've got the two oscillator sequencers here. We've got a modulation sequence as well, and that's accessible here from my Modulation Matrix. So I have a sequence that is dedicated to being able to control my destinations here, including auxiliary CV. And I should pick this up and show you around the back that we have got MIDI in, out and through. We have analog clock in and out as well, and we have note CV at gate, of course, and then auxiliary CV, so an extra modulation lane there that you can program. And the auxiliary CV is a destination here in the mod matrix, so I could decide to send out the envelope information via that mod output, the LFO information, or even my sequenced information here as well. On the circuit side, there are a few things that I should mention which I think are really, really of interest. We have a new pattern settings page on here, and the pattern settings page is, well, let me just trigger this, we can see. Let's go back to our nice ring modulation page. Ring modulation sound. So here on the top right, I've got resolutions of the pattern speed. So if I go here, I'm going to go to, I think it's 4 times the speed of the pattern. So we have different resolutions, including triplets as well. So here it's really slowed down. It's giving me 4 bars in one pattern here. I've also got pattern length control here. So now I've just changed it to, what's that, 11 steps, I think. But if I press shift, I can set it here now. So I've got a start point and an end point. And this means I can just wrap around those particular points. Now let's bring it back to where it was. Let's go back to the normal speed here. So yeah, these different clock divisions have been something that that I've been wanting to get into a circuit for a long time. Here I have the different play modes. So I've got forward, backwards. I've got a ping pong as well. Sorry, I turned those off. And then here I've got a random. So there's a lot of scope for changing your sequence.
So you can save your patches also in this?
Yeah, on here we've got a patches option, and in here we've got our patches presets, of course, but also I have a save option, and I can save my presets directly on the unit. Like circuit, we have 64, so we have a page of 32 here, and if I press the octave button, now I've got another page of 32 here. So it's 64.
And the sound will be saved in the patch or only the pattern?
No, the sound, well, the sound is saved as part of the session, but you can actually, as I say, save your patches directly onto circuit mono station itself as well.
It's over, it's the analog analog and under the digital part, so it's not savable like a complete digital circuit with the sound inside.
No, all of the sounds that you work with on Circuit Monostation, when you save them, yeah, you're capturing the sounds that are created on the synth. So yeah, absolutely, you're saving the patches. You can save them directly as presets, so you can access them at any time, or when you save your session, they'll be saved as part of that session.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we see also on the front side, again, this nice made the headphone.
Yeah, absolutely, that's it. Yeah, we've got the headphone socket on the front. There are a couple of differences really I should mention from Circuit. We don't have battery power on this one. You know, there's a lot of stuff going on here, and it does need to have power from the from the power supply. And also, there is so much going on in this box. You know, we've crammed a base station. Well, you know, huge parts of the base station in here, and the circuit as well, and done all that in an inch-high box. So, you know, real estate is pretty high. So there's no speaker on this one either. But you're quite right. The headphone socket is on the front there, and you know that makes it nice and easy to access everything. One last thing I should mention, I think, on the on the sequencer side is that we have got also a glide mode as well. This is a new feature on here, and this is glide per step. So we can either turn on a default, and this is per oscillator as well, of course. But if I wanted to, I could say, okay, I want this step to have no glide, but maybe from here I want this amount of glide. So changing the glide amount is giving you a really nice kind of... And again, that's per oscillator. And again, with the ring modulation, you know, you get some really crazy stuff going on there as well. So yeah, so that's the Circuit Monostation.
And you have also this components part on your Mac.
Yeah, you'll be able to manage your Monostation via components as well.
So you can share your patch in patterns.
Yeah, that's being worked on at the moment, and I think that it's going to be very similar to the way that we work with Circuit. Yeah.
Price point and when available?
Okay, so this is going to be mid-June, and this is going to be $499.
Okay, thank you.
My pleasure.